Hi everyone, I'm Catherine from Research Rockstar. Let's talk about data. And today I'd like to talk about the type of data we use when we are conducting market segmentation studies. Market segmentation is a really important type of project. Many customer-centric organizations use market segmentation so that instead of treating their target market like one huge mass, that they can break it down into different subgroups based on, well, different criteria depending on the type of segmentation model. Market segmentation can actually mean different things to different people, and part of the current confusion is the fact that today, if you're doing market segmentation, you have some choices about what kind of data you're going to use to create your market segmentation model. So I grabbed a slide from our class on market segmentation to help keep us on track here. But once you have thought about doing a market segmentation project, you do need to set an objective. And based on what that objective is, it's going to have implications for the types of data that you're likely to use for a market segmentation project. So consider some of these common objectives for a market segmentation project. For example, your objective might be about identifying slam dunk customer groups. That is, can we create a model where we identify those groups who are most likely to buy our products? That is, they need our types of products and they are open to buying from our specific brand. And maybe some of the other groups in the model are those that are less likely to buy that product, either in general or from a specific brand. This way, the organization knows which segments are the low-hanging fruit, if you will. So that's a really common type of market segmentation project. But if I skip down to the bottom, or close to the bottom, the second from the bottom, we have this idea of informing a product roadmap. So for a lot of organizations, there's a product roadmap process. It's usually a strategic planning process where an organization is looking out somewhere between 3 and 5 years to understand what kinds of new products it's going to be rolling out or how it might be refining an existing set of products. So a product roadmap is an important strategic planning type of effort for strategic organizations. If I want to create a market segmentation model that's going to inform a product roadmap, it needs to be a little bit more, well, long-term in its scope. So instead of just segmenting people based on what products they're buying or what brands they prefer, I'm probably going to be looking at some more strategic things like current sources of pain with the product category or unmet needs, or maybe I want to understand their associations or perceptions of the product category and my brand as a player in that product category. So it can be a little bit more strategic because what we're doing is we're really understanding customers' attitudes, perceptions, and values. So again, I've got 5 different types of segmentation project objectives stated here, and depending on what you need to do, you'll find that, being clear about your objective is going to help a lot. So your first step in planning a market segmentation project is really to think very precisely about what your objective is. Because once you have your objective, you then need to think about what your data source is going to be. And there are different data sources for market segmentation projects. So one of the things that we have these days is a lot of organizations, when they're doing market segmentation, they do survey research. Well, survey research is really great. You can collect a lot of information from survey research. However, survey research does have a key flaw, which is that it relies on self-reported data. Well, that's the purpose of a survey. We're inviting people to self-report things to us. And it can be very valuable to get people to self-report their perceptions, their attitudes, and their behaviors. But especially when it comes to behaviors, we have to be really careful. It's hard to ask people about future behaviors. So again, if we're doing a segmentation study and we're trying to understand things that might feed into a product roadmap, if we ask people about how likely they are to buy a product that has feature X in the future, or how likely they are to buy a product that has feature Y in the future, it's a very hypothetical thing. And we know that there's a big difference between what people say they'll do and what they will actually do. So if we're doing a segmentation model where we are really trying to inform product roadmap, we have to ask ourselves a question. Is it good enough to ask people about their expected future behaviors, or would it be better if we could actually look at their past purchase behaviors in order to predict their future behaviors? So if you're doing this type of study, if you're doing a market segmentation study for an organization that maybe sells online or collects a lot of customer sales data through a CRM system or has access to other types of databases where they're collecting actual customer purchase behavior, then you can create a model of your market. You can create a market segmentation model based on actual behavior. So there are two different data sources out there. If I'm doing a market segmentation study, I can do a survey, or I might be able to leverage an existing database of actual customer purchase behaviors so that I can predict their future behaviors and create a model that way. So sometimes in the market research world, people assume that you're going to have to do a survey, but it's not always the case. A lot of organizations do have access to big customer databases these days, and those can be extremely helpful. Again, it's going to depend on what your objective is. If you are doing a project where asking people about their attitudes and perceptions is fine, awesome, do a survey. But if you're really trying to predict future purchase behavior as part of your model, or maybe you want to do a model that's going to be more about tactical campaigns, like you want a model that's going to allow you to tag people in your customer database so that you can send them finely tuned marketing and promotional materials, then again, you're going to use a customer database, not a survey-based source of data. I hope that the distinction between survey-based data and customer data sources for market segmentation was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, please contact me at Research Rockstar. Thanks.